The next-gen consoles have been out for, I'd say, around 4-ish minutes now, and unfortunately they didn't bring any Pro controllers or custom Pro controllers with them, at least close to their release. This issue is more so a PlayStation issue because the Xbox side of things, let's admit it guys, that controller is the exact same thing as last generation. Some things never change. Love you, Microsoft. Sadly, the PS5 side of the market wasn't really doing all that well until, I'd say, the latter half of 2021. AIM was 80 miles ahead of everyone, releasing theirs back in late 2020, and Hex released theirs earlier in 2021, and because they are way too nice of a company, to be working with someone like me, they decided to send me their new Hex Rival PS5 custom controller for an honest review. I say new, I mean new as in it's 3 months old because I am a very terrible business partner. Hex, I sincerely apologize for this video taking far too long. I've had a lot of issues, but I've also had a lot of excuses. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't extremely grateful and happy that Hex sent me out their controller for review. I sincerely appreciate it. I'm going to be brutally honest with it, of course. What the hell else are you here for? And up until this point, I've only done Xbox controllers. So if you're a PlayStationer, if you're an Xboxer, basically, if you're some bot who's still on a fucking console in 2021, be sure to hit that sub button. I'll definitely continue covering these controllers in the future. Now, GayStation 5. Let's go.
Oh, you like dick? Oh, hell no. You one of them, bitch. You know what I mean?
As previously mentioned, things on the Xbox Series X side of things are doing just fine. On the PS5 side of the railroad, Scuf isn't really doing anything, at least not right now. If they do, it's Scuf. It's gonna suck horse peen. If they do something, which they will. Evil Controllers offers PS5 custom controllers. You can't customize the touchpad or the rear plate. They're white. You can customize everything else on this controller, but those two things are stuck as white. That has to be the most embarrassing shit I've ever heard ever. And terribly acronymed Battle Beaver Customs released their PS5 custom controllers on the 13th of September. And AIM controllers? I think they got theirs out first before everybody. But when we got into contact and started talking about doing a video, they just randomly ghosted me. So...
okay, cunt.
PS5 controllers this generation aren't necessarily cheap or easy to work on, so things for custom controller manufacturers have not been simple. I mean, granted, I don't know if that's the actual excuse. I am making an excuse for them because controllers this generation are A, taking a while to get going, and B, they're ridiculously expensive. When manufacturers are 100% ready to release their controllers, though, you do get very interesting results, like with the Hex Rival. It was a very bad idea, but Hex let me customize my own controller, so I damn near maxed it out, not just with aesthetic customization, but with competitive customization. The only competitive upgrade you can purchase is the $30 tactile bumper and trigger upgrade. Everything else is included, and by everything else I mean the 6 swappable sticks and the 2 extra buttons on the bottom, which are included in the base price of... oh wow. Hex also offers in-depth aesthetic customization, unlike the soft cocks at Evil, which is a huge plus, but base price, bro. What's going on here? In the base price, it only comes with the 6 swappable thumbsticks and the 2 extra buttons on the bottom. When you just do all the competitive upgrades, which again, the only one you can purchase is tactile bumpers and triggers, it comes out to a total of $280. That's going to be very significant because I'm going to be talking about this exact point at this section of the video because I'm just going to come out and say it now. This base price for a controller is not okay. If your controller's $300, it should literally have a holographic girlfriend built into it that comes out of like the back of the controller, and then she does whatever holographic stupid anime weeb shit all you kids are into nowadays. I'm gonna hold my negative comments for later. Like I said, I'm gonna do a normal tech channel thing for a second and just, you know, talk about features. We begin our journey with the remap kit on the bottom of this controller, which is called the Rise Remap Kit. It's made by Extreme Rate. Yes, I know. These are Extreme Rate kits. Do you want to know something that's even cooler? Hex is owned by Extreme Rate. Someone's not going to watch until this point in the video, and they're going to comment about how those are Extreme Rate kits. I want you guys to go make fun of them. On a real note, though, the Rise Remap Kit, at least in comparison to both the Xbox kits I've gotten from Extreme Rate, astoundingly good. Astoundingly better, actually. Yes, it only comes with 2 buttons, but even people who own 4-button or 4-paddle controllers usually end up only using 1 or 2. The holographic girlfriend in your $300 fucking PlayStation controller might leave you for a controller with 4 buttons like my custom Xbox controller, but, you know, she's replaceable, man. Don't worry about her. These buttons are absolutely amazing. They feel and sound like a very light mouse click, and it is very satisfying. Best of all, the buttons are actually shaped to caress your fingers, so they actually work a bit better than your normal paddle setup or your normal button setup, like in comparison to the paddles on the Black Beast or the buttons on the Razer Ugly Big Weasel. And there's one more thing I like to talk about when comparing this remap kit to one of the Xbox remap kits, specifically the Xbox One Lofty remap kit. Remapping that thing was ever so slightly kind of mildly retarded. With this kit, all you have to do is press and hold a button. There's a red LED indicator on the front, and you can remap whichever button on this controller, and not just button, but bumper, trigger, or trackpad, to the buttons on the bottom. It's absolutely amazing. So even if you don't plan on buying this monster of a controller, which for more than one reason I could understand, the Extreme Rate Rise remap kit is definitely worth a look, and I will leave some links down below to the Amazon Rainforest, where you can find this remap kit alongside Canned Meat, Hitler's Diary, and those toys that you found in your mother's drawer because you're snooping around like the little head ass that you are. So moving on very quickly to a point that is not so high up there, the tactile bumpers and triggers, which, while I am kind of a fan, I have two problems. One, I hear these being called clicky triggers. I think they actually label them as clicky triggers on the Extreme Rate website. Clicky, they are not even close. Due to this trigger and bumper upgrade, I've actually had two of these $300 controllers. This one doesn't even have the clicky triggers and the clicky bumpers because I opted to not go with that option this time around for obvious reasons. In fact, whoop, it's like a Scooby-Doo episode. We're just gonna put you right there. So Hex sent me a code, and no, you do not get my discount code. It is mine. And I ordered it without the clicky triggers, knocking the price from $310 down to $280. My R2 went out after 52 days of use, just randomly. It stopped working while I was playing Splitgate, never started working again. While I do like the clicky triggers, they are not as clicky as I would personally like them to be, but they are as fast as they need to be. So they're a good upgrade, but be cautious. Again, 52 days of use. And the very last competitive upgrade we have are the 6-swappable thumbsticks, which I'm going to use to transition into my, you guys know what portion of the video it's about to be. This controller is so big. Using anything but the stock height thumbsticks is impossible under the height of 6'3". The controller is bigger than that overweight, fat soccer mom of an SUV Mustang Mach-E. Like, it's seriously embarrassing on Sony's end, especially with some of the most amazingly designed controllers of the last couple of years. Yes, I said it. Or last couple of console generations, my bad. But this one, oh my god, it's so big. And then with the Hex upgrades on top of it, it makes it even bigger, which I can't fault Hex for putting upgrades on this controller. It's what they're supposed to do. It's not all I can look towards is Sony and their terrible design choices with this controller. I digress. I'm supposed to be talking about the thumbsticks, which are deadly accurate. These thumbsticks must be calibrated by Tech God. They're not on par with something like the Thrustmaster eSwap Pro, which has a level of accuracy unparalleled to anything I've tried before, but it's actually really, really good. I'm very, very surprised, although I do have to change my grip on this controller to be able to utilize that accuracy because, again, it's very, very big. And yes, this controller's big, but that's not its only issue. Do you guys remember me bringing up a certain base price earlier? So we're at that point in the video, and at this point, I'm actually going to completely remove the script from the occasion because I want to be 100% honest with you guys about this. And not just honest, but more raw. With these portions of the video, I usually throw some funny little jokes in there so people aren't going to be as upset about the things I'm going to say. This time, I want you guys to hear the things I'm saying, not the jokes I'm saying. So Priest walks into a bar. First up, I'm going to set aside the smaller issues, that way we can get onto the big one. First off, size, already mentioned it, already talked about it. It's a bit too big in my opinion, and the design is a little wonky for what it's considered to be a PlayStation controller. Could have fucking fooled me. And as I stated before, my R2 went out with my clicky, tactile, and bumper kit after 52 days of use on my first controller. These are not my biggest issues with this controller. And you guys know, if a reliability issue isn't taking center stage with me, there's got to be a way bigger issue at hand, and there is. I'm going to just very easily show you guys this graph. That way this portion of the video doesn't take too long. For the same base price of this Hex controller, you could customize a custom controller from literally any other company and max out the competitive features. Tactile bumpers and triggers, increased thumbstick tension on your right thumbstick, tactile ABXY or D-pad buttons, 4 extra buttons instead of 2 extra buttons, and even in the case of Battle Beaver, a fucking carrying case. All at or under the price of $250. Yes, when you actually do get to customizing these controllers, they all, literally all across the board, cost between $300 and $350. But that's with max aesthetic customization as well as competitive features. Just putting competitive features on, they will be cheaper than this controller. And not only that, you'll be getting more competitive features. So we run into a little bit of a problem, you see. And since I've already mentioned these companies on my channel before, and I've already talked about them in depth, at least to some degree, I just can't ignore the fact that these companies are, in most cases, offering more value per dollar. And here's my biggest problem with this is that with most custom controller manufacturers, not even most, all custom controller manufacturers, you get the option of going small and just going for a couple of competitive upgrades, so you can basically just have yourself a normal pro controller, or you can go big. But with Hex, in this situation, you're either going big or going home. You have to give people options, otherwise you're just going to have one tier of customer and it's going to be a lot more rare. And also, this is a fucking controller. Why is it this expensive? This isn't even just a specific issue to PlayStation. It's both PlayStation and Xbox, but no controller should be this expensive. At least at a base price, it can't be. Especially if you're only gonna be offering a 3 to 6 month warranty. It comes with a 3-month warranty. You can upgrade it to 6 months via a social media post and tagging Hex Gaming and adding Hex Gaming and shit like that, but still, 6 months. For a controller that cost as much as a digital edition PS5, or an Xbox Series S, or an RTX 3060, or a PC case with a literal TV screen on the side of it, or, and here's my favorite comparison, 10 Power Enhanced controllers. 10! Before moving on to gameplay, I would just like to note very, very truthfully and from the bottom of my heart, I'm not doing this to be a dick. I'm not doing this because I think these other companies are better, or I don't like Hex, or this, that, and the other. It's always been, I cannot ignore where other deals are. If I were, I would be dishonest. I would be saying, oh, this is a good controller. Oh, it's good for the price, and this and that and the other. No, it's not. If the price was changed a little bit, I can understand. And since Extreme Rate does make a lot of their parts in-house, I can understand that their controllers would be on the more pricey side of the spectrum. Not this far, though. And that's really just my biggest issue, man. If this was a bit cheaper, I could realistically recommend this, but I can only realistically recommend the Rise Remap Kit or the tactile bumper and trigger upgrade that you can do yourself at home, which also make Extreme Rate money. So I can't really feel bad about it. But with all that being said, this controller is still a shit ton of fun to use, and like I said, it's deadly accurate. And since I've gotten accustomed to the PlayStation layout and this enormous controller with a very, very weird grip on it, I think I am finally ready to show you guys some decently skilled gameplay from Splitgate, potentially Fortnite, and potentially Modern Warfare if I can get through a match. Holy. Oh my god, I want to kill myself every fucking time I open that game. I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay, though. Whatever gameplay there may be.
Yo, the Omega skin's just destroying.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up, fuck up, nigga.
I'm good. Thank you for the offer.
The fuck? We can talk if we want to, bitch. Yeah, what I tell you, Omega? Yeah, I'm finna shit on your little. Oh shit, never mind. I lied. What's your username?
Nigga.
That's not your fucking username, and I was not talking to you.
Well,
Diddy's gonna regret saying it.
definitely not a helicopter.
Bro, please, bro. Why you do?
I'm so sorry here.
Not killed, but beamed. Can't you stoke campfires in this game mode? What the?
Oh no.
Oh my god, the Omega skin's about to destroy us.
I didn't kill that, and I need skin right there. It's literally too OP for no reason.
What?
You see the guy who's fucking building right now? That's just got knocked to turn my sensitivity up to 9.
The default,
So
yeah,
if I
the
have
default's
to-
about to die by storm.
I turned my sensitivity up to 9, so.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
about to die.
Yeah, I see your partner. Oh wait. Oh yep, he's dead.
I just simultaneously whipped a Nene!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Free for all. First blood. the lead. Game over.
Ba 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 ba. Suck my dick, nigga.
I've had a lot of fun with this controller, and no matter what the negative things I've said about this thing, I have had a lot of fun with it. I've tried the new gyro feature, which I never knew was actually as fun as it was, until I actually gave it a shot on BeamNG and started driving around with it. Spoiler alert, it's fucking amazing. The remappable buttons have given me a different view on how buttons and paddles should work. Instead of being two separate entities, maybe combining the two to make something that's a little bit more comfortable is the way to go. And while I have talked a lot of shit about PlayStation and Xbox, in reality, from my point of view, they're both essentially the same thing, and I'm not really biased towards one or the other. While I do prefer an Xbox layout when I'm playing, I couldn't give a shit less that it's an Xbox controller or if it's PlayStation controller. But I really do wish I could recommend this controller more, because not only do they offer beautiful customization in terms of aesthetics, but their competitive upgrades are actually really, really fun. Even though my tactile bumpers and triggers fucked me over, they were very fun while they lasted, and I could have gotten a defective pair. Really, the only notes I have are lower the goddamn price. Again, I would suggest a warranty increase for a couple of months, maybe to a year. While I am impressed, I am also very sad that this is not available to more people. And while I cannot, in good consciousness, recommend this to people because of its price and the available options out there, I can recommend the Rise Remap Kit. But if you're someone who doesn't like to get your hands dirty, there will be links down below in the description for the X controller, for the kits I talked about, maybe even that canned meat and that Hitler's Diary in the Amazon rainforest I talked about earlier. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's been a long time coming, and I do plan on reviewing more PlayStation controllers in the future, or my bad, GayStation controllers, as I do enjoy branching out. And there's also been quite a neglected market on this channel for a while, which I haven't been meaning to do, but people have been more so asking me for Xbox controllers because I've only been reviewing Xbox controllers, so you guys get where that whole circle of horse shit comes from. You guys understand. Before I go, I'd like to warn any other companies from working with me, as I am a very terrible partner right now. Hex, I sincerely appreciate you guys. I really, truly, and honestly do. And I promise I will send back your other controller that I owe you. Whenever you guys come up with your Xbox Series X controller, it might be best to just skip over me. Plus, I kind of built my own. I kind of built my own with parts you guys use. So, yeah. With all that being said, though, back on the grind. Very excited about it. And I hope to see you guys in my next grind session. If you enjoyed, drop a like and drop a share and hit that favorite button because it's 2010. And subscribe and things and